Number 9. Relaxed eating. Eating is one of the most instinct-driven behaviors a dog has. In many environments, it's tied to competition, to protection, to staying alert while something valuable is in front of them. So when your dog eats slowly, pauses between bites, or even looks up at you calmly during a meal, it reveals something deeper. They don't feel the need to guard anything. Their body stays loose instead of tense. They aren't hovering over their food. They aren't rushing to finish before something might take it away. Instead, they move at their own pace, comfortable in the space around them. That kind of ease doesn't happen by accident. It comes from learning over time that nothing in their environment threatens their resources, especially not you. And when a dog feels that level of security during something as instinctive as eating, it often shows up in how they handle something even more emotional: your absence. Number 10. Calm when you leave. A lot of people assume that love should look dramatic when it comes to dogs, that if your dog truly cares about you, they should panic when you leave, show distress, follow you, react strongly. But real security looks different. When your dog stays calm as you walk out the door, there's a quiet confidence in that stillness. They've learned something through experience, that your absence isn't permanent and it isn't something to fear. You might see them watch you go for a moment, not with anxiety, but with awareness. And then, instead of spiraling into stress, they settle back into their space. That behavior isn't distance, it's trust. It means your dog doesn't feel the need to prepare for loss. They understand, in their own way, that you always come back. And that kind of understanding only forms when consistency has replaced uncertainty. Once you recognize that, you start to see how their attachment shows up in a much softer way, in how they choose to stay near you. Number 11. Quietly following you. When your dog moves from room to room with you, it's easy to assume they're being clingy or dependent. But often, what's happening is far more balanced than that. They're not rushing, not hovering, not trying to control where you go. They simply drift in your direction. There's a calmness in the way they follow. Their steps are unhurried, their body relaxed, as if being near you feels natural rather than necessary. And when there's a barrier between you, like a closed door, they don't panic. They wait, or they settle somewhere nearby. That's the difference between anxiety and connection. They're not following because they're afraid to be alone. They're following because your presence has become the place where they feel most at ease. And when you return after even a short absence, that quiet attachment shows up in a very different, more expressive way. Number 12. Joyful reunions. There's something almost disarming about how your dog greets you when you come back, even if you were only gone for a few minutes. Their body lights up. Movement becomes faster, looser, more expressive. It's not controlled or calculated. It just happens. But there's an important difference between excitement and anxiety. When a dog feels secure, their energy builds quietly while you're gone and releases when you return. It doesn't come from panic, it comes from anticipation. You can see it in how loose their body is, how fluid their movements feel. There's no tension behind it, just genuine happiness that you're back in their space. And that reaction reveals something simple but powerful. You still matter to them every time you return. And even when you're not there, that connection doesn't disappear. It lingers in something as small as your scent. Number 13. Seeking your scent. You might find your dog curled up near something you left behind, a shirt, a blanket, something that carries your scent. At first, it can seem random, but it rarely is. Your scent becomes a form of reassurance, not because your dog is overwhelmed without you, but because your presence has become associated with safety, familiarity, calm. When they rest near it without tearing it apart, without showing agitation, it reveals emotional balance. They're not distressed, they're grounded. It's their way of staying connected to you, even in your absence, without needing anything more. And that quiet sense of security shows up again in a behavior that might seem almost backwards at first glance. Number 14. Turning their back to you. In human terms, turning your back on someone can feel dismissive, but for a dog, it can mean something completely different. When your dog settles with their back facing you, body loose, posture relaxed, they're making a quiet choice. They're choosing not to monitor you. Dogs are naturally aware of what's around them, especially what's behind them. So when they stop tracking that space, it means they trust it, and they trust you. They don't feel the need to keep you in sight. They don't feel the need to stay alert. Instead, they let that responsibility go. It's a small gesture, easy to misinterpret, but once you understand it, it becomes one of the clearest signs that your dog feels safe enough to fully relax in your presence. And that same confidence appears in the way they move in and out of affection. Number 15. Leaving after affection. A secure dog doesn't cling to closeness. They move into it and then away from it without hesitation. They come to you, lean into your touch, stay for a moment, and then quietly leave to do their own thing. No tension, no need to hold on longer than they want to. That behavior reflects something deeper than independence. It reflects stability. They don't feel like affection is something that can disappear if they don't hold on to it. They trust that connection remains even when the moment ends. And you can see that trust in the ease of their movements, the lack of urgency, the calm rhythm of a dog who knows they can return whenever they want and it will still be there. That same emotional balance carries into how they play with you. Number 16. Gentle play. Play can reveal a lot about how a dog feels, especially when it involves you. When your dog invites you to play, there's often a softness in how they do it. They lower their body, move toward you with energy, but hold something back at the same time. Their bites are controlled, their movements are measured. Even in excitement, they adjust themselves to match you. That restraint isn't accidental, it's intentional. They trust you enough to let their guard down, but they also respect you enough to stay gentle. It becomes less about intensity and more about connection. In those moments, play turns into something shared, a kind of communication where both of you are tuned into each other. And that trust shows up again when your dog faces something they can't handle on their own. Number 17. Asking for your help. There are moments when your dog encounters something they can't solve, a toy out of reach, a door they can't open. Instead of panicking or giving up, they look at you. That look carries meaning. It's not confusion, it's expectation. They've learned that you're part of their solutions, that when something doesn't work, turning to you makes sense. And when they guide you toward the problem, waiting, watching, it shows a level of trust that goes beyond routine. They believe you can help. That belief isn't built instantly. It forms over time through repeated experiences where you made things easier instead of harder. And that shared problem-solving leads into something even more personal, the space they choose to share with you. Number 18. Sharing their space. Dogs value their resting places more than most people realize. A bed, a corner, a patch of sunlight. These are spaces where they finally let their guard down. So when your dog shifts slightly to make room for you, something important is happening. They're not just tolerating you, they're including you. The space they once kept for themselves becomes something shared, and you can feel that shift in how they settle beside you. No adjustment, no tension, just quiet acceptance. Over time, those shared moments turn into something more than comfort. They become a reflection of belonging. You're no longer just part of their routine, you're part of their world. By now, you've probably started to see your dog a little differently. The small things you once overlooked, the quiet behaviors that didn't seem to mean much, begin to form a pattern. And that pattern tells a simple story. Your dog has been showing you how they feel all along. Not in loud, obvious ways, but in the details, in the moments where they relax, where they trust, where they choose you without needing to. And when you start to recognize those moments, the connection between you changes. It becomes clearer, deeper, more intentional. But there's still another layer to this, something even subtler that reveals when a dog truly knows they are loved. And once you see that sign, you'll never look at your dog the same way again.